Greetings, hello, and welcome. My name is Chuckling Kumquat, and I will be talking about the Clueboard this afternoon, this evening. It's like, what, 6 o'clock here? I don't know. I guess it's evening, right? It's evening? Anyways, you get the idea. I'm going to be talking about this magnificent keyboard today. And so this is a 65% keyboard. It's currently dropping on mass drop, which is why I am doing this review today instead of tomorrow. I usually procrastinate, but, you know, I figured I actually want people to have this keyboard, so I should probably get the review out today, you know. Why do I want people to have this keyboard? Well, as you can tell, it's gorgeous. I'd love to see a lot more high-quality photos of this picture on the sub, you know, this picture, yeah, this picture. This is a keyboard, not a picture. Don't get me wrong. It is picture perfect, but it's not a picture. This thing is gorgeous, and he sent me SA Carbon with this. This is not my board. This is a review sample. This is the nicest review sample I've ever gotten. SA Carbon on an all-aluminum Clueboard with RGB underglow. Come on, in an orange case, orange aluminum case, aluminum plate. Come on. Can't get better than that. This is... If in terms of 65% keyboards, this is about as good as it gets. I've owned a Clueboard before, but it was not of this caliber. I own an all-acrylic one, 67 gram Zelios. This thing is on a whole different level. Like, oh my god. This is... It's not a... How do I phrase this properly? It basically... It's like it's not even the same company. That's how different these keyboards are. Don't get me wrong, the acrylic is amazing. It feels really nice. He has high quality acrylic, and it feels good to type on. But this thing is a... Oh my... It's endgame. It's a tank. It is a tank. Put some little tracks on it, put a gun on it, you can drive this thing to war, I swear to God. It is a tank, and this is awesome. I love this keyboard. I adore this keyboard, and I don't want to send it back. I might just PM him and buy it from him. Actually, that's a lot of money. I probably won't do that. But I want to. I really want to. This keyboard's really nice, guys. Regardless, let me actually get into the review now. I'm gonna try to make this one a little bit shorter. Not shorter as in like content, not shorter in terms of content, but you know, I'm not gonna ramble as much as I already have. I'm gonna be talking about the build quality first, and the build quality of this, as I've mentioned, it's a tank. It is absolutely beefy as hell. It's really nice. This thing is it's solid aluminum, and then you have this little RGB diffuser strip. It's just a little layer of acrylic. It's very nice. It looks amazing. It feels amazing. The acrylic is actually very beneficial in this case. Usually I'm not a fan of acrylic, not a fan of underglow. It's not my type of thing. But this actually, the acrylic strip in here changes a whole lot about the sound, and I will get into that a little bit later. But just know that having an acrylic strip in your keyboard is not a downside, especially when it's as beefy as this. Like, this weighs a ton. This is a brick. Would I recommend this board for traveling because of the weight? Probably not. Don't get me wrong, you can easily do it. It's not that big, but it is kind of heavy. Personally, I'm just going to bring my HHKB if I travel. But this thing on my desk is very solid. It doesn't move an inch. It's got rubber feet on it. You can kind of see them there. It's also got the Clueboard logo. It's in the back. It's like, it's not engraved. It's like part of the case, you know. It's like part of the mold. It's depressed into the case. It looks really nice. I'm trying to get a... Hope you guys can see that. I'll try to take some photos, and I'll do a written review of this as well a little bit later when I get the time, and because I haven't used this keyboard all that much, and I really don't need to, if I'm going to be quite honest. It's very clear to me that this is an incredible product, and it's solid. What can I say about it? It is a solid chunk of aluminum. It's on your desk, and it feels absolutely amazing. Now, I don't even need to mention the aesthetics of this keyboard. It's very nice. It is absolutely gorgeous. As you can tell, it's really nice anodized aluminum. It's got 3 options. It's got a dark gray, and then it's got a silver, and it has the orange. The orange, if you bought GMK Carbon, get the orange. It's awesome. This orange is really nice. It's almost like, it kind of reminds me of fountain pennings, in that it basically, like, depending what lighting you're in, it just changes color just the slightest bit, and it's really, really nice. Like, it can go from, like, a very deep and almost reddish orange to, like, a very bright, and shiny orange. It's really nice, depending on the light, obviously. So, it looks red now, and it looks orange. It looks really, really good. And then it's going to be very difficult to show this, but the sides of this keyboard, like that, it goes like this, and then it goes like this. So imagine the Apple M0110, the M0110, that kind of thing, but on a way less obvious scale. It's very, very subtle. It looks amazing, actually. I'm a fan of blocky designs. Like, I really enjoy my text cases, which are just kind of like rounded corners and just solid straight lines. But this actually looks really, really nice. Like, the tiny angles in this case are actually gorgeous, and it kind of reflects light as you look at it, which is really, really good. It makes it a lot better, actually, and I really appreciate that. It's a subtle design feature that actually makes a pretty big impact. It looks really good. I like it a lot. As you probably noticed, this keyboard doesn't have feet. I mean, aluminum, like, feet that you stick on to raise the keyboard. And that's because this keyboard is actually raised already. A tiny bit. A tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And you guys might be like, oh, I don't like my keyboards raised. And that's actually not an issue, because this keyboard is, it's almost like the HHKB, where the HHKB just kind of goes up a tiny, tiny bit. And it makes it so it's very comfortable to type on. I really, really enjoy typing on this keyboard. I always raise my keyboards. I find it very uncomfortable for them to be flat, like completely flat. And this is the exact angle where it's incredibly comfortable for typing. I used SA and Cherry Profile to do typing tests, and they were both really, really comfortable. I had no issues at all. Usually Cherry Profile for me highlights if the angle is uncomfortable at all, and I didn't find that to be the case with this keyboard. I found that it's a very moderate angle, and it's just incredibly comfortable for typing, if I'm going to be honest. I really like it. So that's another design feature of this keyboard. It's all around, I can tell he spent a ton of time into the design of this, because it feels and sounds amazing. It's got great acoustics. So this keyboard, it's got... It's a deep and rich sound. It's very thocky rather than clacky. And I that might be a turnoff for some of you guys. Like, that's kind of how it sounds. I have typing tests on my channel. I have 3 of them. I have Gateron Blues, Gateron Blacks in SA, and then I have Gateron Black with Cherry Profile. So you guys can listen to those and get like a full sound test of them. But basically, this keyboard, it's a very deep and rich sound that I really enjoy. And I think that can be attributed to the acrylic layer in this case, actually. So a solid aluminum case kind of gives off a clacky sound. My nuclear data typing test will kind of highlight the difference perfectly. So my nuclear data board is basically Gateron Blacks, all aluminum case, aluminum plate, exact same setup. Well, even SA caps do. Exact same setup as the Clueboard. However, it sounds a lot more clacky. And the acrylic layer in this case actually makes the sound a lot richer and deeper, because I think it absorbs some of the noise. And it really does make a difference. I quite like it, actually. It's one of my favorite sounding boards, too, actually. I really enjoy the deep, thocky sounds. That's why I like Topre a lot, too. And it's reminiscent of that, but it is not the same. It's definitely MX, but it sounds very, very nice. It's refined, it's crisp, it's a great sound. I think it's actually one of my favorites of all time. My nuclear data board is definitely my favorite sounding MX board that I personally own, and then I would say that this is on par, if not better, honestly. I really enjoy the deep sound of it. And the acrylic layer, you might be wondering, does it influence the typing feel? Like, does it absorb some of the impact and make it kind of mushy or anything like that? And the answer is no. Just like the case, the typing experience is very solid. It's a very nice typing experience. I have no issues whatsoever. It feels like a solid unit. You can feel when a plate and a case feel kind of separate, where like it's just the case, the plate resting on the case, and there's a very big difference. This is like integrated. It feels like a single unit. It's very nice to type on. I really enjoy it. It feels incredibly solid under your fingers. There's no wobble, nothing like that. It's absolutely incredible. It's a great typing experience, and I wasn't gonna go in. I was actually probably not gonna go in on this group buy. It's currently dropping on Master Up. I probably wasn't going to go in, but now I think I will, because it's actually this good. It feels and sounds just amazing. I don't know what he did with the design to make it this way, but it's absolutely incredible, and it's something I really appreciate. I think he put a lot of time and work into this, and it's definitely paid off. It's really something pretty special, you know? It's not like any other board that I've tried recently, and I really like that. So now let me get into the layout a little bit. Obviously, this is a 65% keyboard, which means that it's a 60% with arrow keys, dedicated arrow keys, and then you get page up and page down. These are still Gateron blues. Just a little sound test there, in case you don't want to watch the other videos. Regardless, 65% layout is basically a 60% layout with dedicated arrows and the page up and page down, as I just mentioned. So 60% would be this, so this whole portion all the way up to here. So you're effectively adding just a tiny bit onto the keyboard, which is very reasonable. You add just kind of like, keycap and a half, so 1.5 U. It's really not that bad if you're looking to downsize. So if you think TKL is too big, but you don't want to go to 60% because you don't want to drop the arrow keys and you feel like you need the dedicated arrows, this is a great compromise. You know, you've got the dedicated arrow keys along with the small form factor. It's a lot smaller than a 10 keyless because it drops the F row, which would add a ton over here, and it drops the nav cluster, which would be basically starting here and then going out even further this way. So you'd be adding like this much more and then this much more on the top. So it's quite a significant drop from a TKL, but at the same time, it's not a big deal at all. The only thing you really lose is the nav cluster, which is integrated into the function layer, obviously. So the function key on this keyboard is actually here. Not the biggest fan of that. Obviously, you can do your own layout, so it's not too big of a deal, but I think it's these keys around here, but the keyboard's fully reprogrammable. You can change it to anything you want. But there's not that much I need to say about the layout. It's still portable, but due to the weight, it's probably not the best for travel. But that's not too big of a deal because, you know, it just gives you more space on your desk. Regardless, let me just get into the pricing of this, because you might be wondering how much this is going to cost you. And my lights just went off. Now that we have lights again, we can, they're motion activated, and I'm under my bed, actually. This is my bed. I have a sweet recording setup, I swear. Regardless, I'm going to be talking about the pricing of this a little bit. So it's on Master Up right now. I believe it's $269 before shipping and taxes, if I'm not mistaken. And then that's how much it is with just Gateron switches, and I think you might get keycaps with it too. You can also add GMK Royal Alpha, which is a gorgeous set. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the green modifiers, it has the white ones. But nonetheless, it's a really nice board. If you got that with the silver case, I think it would look really good. Adding RGB underglow is actually an extra $35, I think. But it is well worth it, and if you're buying this keyboard, you might as well get the underglow. It's really, really nice. And then I think it's another $35 if you want it assembled. Although assembling this should be fairly easy. It's really just soldering. So the best way I can describe building a keyboard is it's like Legos. It's like Legos, but you just have to solder, and even soldering is very easy. It's not too big of a deal at all. And there are a ton of YouTube tutorials out there for learning how to solder. It's really easy. So don't be turned off by that. There are also people like me who can build them for you. Now I'm gonna get into the portion of this review where I'm going to say, would I buy this keyboard for myself? And that's kind of what it comes down to. Like, all of this being said, would I actually want this keyboard, and would I actually use this keyboard? And the answer is yes to both of them. This keyboard blew me away. It's absolutely incredible. It is stunningly gorgeous. It's got a very nice anodization, especially with the SA Carbon. It's a great combination. It looks amazing. It feels amazing. The sound is deep and rich. The acrylic layer and the RGB effects are great. You have a ton of them. You can do fading and all that stuff. You have everything you could ever want right here. If you like turtles, buy this.